Yes, now ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Thomas Fans YouTube channel. It is Saturday, and I've not watched Raw, I've not watched NXT, and I've not watched SmackDown. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit in my room, and I'm going to do a marathon of Raw, NXT, and SmackDown for this week. I'm going to upload it all, but obviously it's going to be in 3 parts. 1 video for Raw, 1 video for NXT, and 1 video for SmackDown. First episode we've got is obviously Raw, and in the opening, obviously, Judgment Day were driving in. Dominic said he was going to valet the car. And AJ Styles was disguised as the valet driver. Now, obviously, we know AJ has been chasing Dominic, keeping his eyes on Dominic, because Dominic needs to get cleared so he can defend the title against AJ Styles. And tonight is the night where Dominic is getting reevaluated to see if he is cleared for competition. So, I love how WWE have actually, manipulated Dom's injury or manipulated Dom not to defend the title into an actual storyline. I like that. WWE should do shit like that, because being injured is a problem. Not defending the title is a problem. It affects superstars, it affects divisions. So that is a great way of going about it. So to kick off Monday Night Raw, we had CM Punk come out and address his gauntlet match win and his opportunity for the World Heavyweight Championship against Gunther at SummerSlam. And he said, he only has 2 weeks to prepare for Gunther, but then proceeds to say he doesn't need to prepare because he remembers that he is CM Punk. That's when Gunther comes out and, says, CM Punk, you have an ego. And I don't blame you. People chanted you for 10 years while you weren't here. The difference is your ego is not valid. It doesn't have facts. It's purely based on what the fans think. And he says that is worthless. It's not facts. It's not statistics. Gunther says he thinks he's the best in the world. And he has an ego. And it's justified because he is the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. He is the longest reigning NXT UK Champion of all time. He is 2-time World Heavyweight Champion. And he knows he can beat CM Punk in the ring, he says. So you know what? You might not win at SummerSlam, but at least you have the fans on your side. That was short and sweet promo. All you need. Either cause a beef, with some stirring the pot and storytelling, but we've only got 2 weeks. No one cares about CM Punk versus Gunther as a match. People care about Gunther as world champion and CM Punk trying to become world champion. This is a match for the title. This is not a feud. So treat it as such. Gunther saying, look, I have the in-ring advantage, you have the fan advantage. They're not going to get too personal. That's how a promo should be. So Stephanie Vaquer was having a backstage interview before she was quickly interrupted by Naomi. Obviously, Naomi being women's world champion, the person Stephanie Vaquer might potentially challenge at Clash in Paris. Now, Stephanie said, look, if you get past SummerSlam, which obviously she is, because they're not going to have Naomi successfully cash in with a brilliant cash in just to lose to Rhea Ripley or just to lose it back to Io Sky. In fact, I'd be mad if they did that, because that is bad for the women's world title reign of Naomi. But here's my issue. I feel like I'd prefer Stephanie Vaquer versus whoever is the undisputed WWE Women's Champion. Purely because I suspect that's probably going to be Jade Cargill, if not Tiffany Stratton. I feel like those are both stylistically better matches than Naomi. They make more sense than Naomi. Really, I wanted Stephanie Vaquer to win that Battle Royal to have that rematch with Io Sky, because they had a match that got interrupted, right? I feel like that was the dream match. But now that it's Naomi, I just feel like the characters and the match type wouldn't make sense. Stephanie Vaquer and Tiffany Stratton would put on a better match. Stephanie Vaquer and Jade Cargill would make more of a sense of a match. I feel like that would have more aura as a match. I feel like Naomi doesn't make sense. But regardless, she took a dig at the match she had with Io Sky, and she said, before that match got interrupted, she was dog walking you, and I wouldn't take that personally. And now she's trying to stir the pot between Io and Stephanie, distract both of her future opponents for that title. I don't blame her. Naomi's a great character, and WWE are booking her very well. And it's a shame, because Stephanie's not taking that title off Naomi, and she's not taking it off whoever the undisputed WWE Women's Champion are, which is a shame. But there's other routes. Do you know what I mean? And at least Stephanie won. At least WWE are taking Stephanie seriously. So Sheamus and Rusev just had their second match of what we hope is a best of 5 or best of 7 series, and Sheamus got the win this time. Another long, grueling, slow, sweaty match, which again utilised the turnbuckle in a finish. Last time, Rusev slammed Sheamus' throat into that exposed turnbuckle and hit him with his kick or whatever, super kick, Machka kick. And this time, Rusev tried to do it again after he couldn't beat Sheamus with the accolade, and Sheamus bounced Rusev's head off of it and hit him with a bro kick and got the win. I hate how Sheamus isn't over. Rusev should be over as well, but also, take some time to build him back up. You know what I mean? He's never been the most exciting guy, but Sheamus should be. Sheamus is a veteran. People should love Sheamus, and they do. The problem is it's forced, and the fans have to convince themselves that Sheamus is a star. WWE is not doing enough. The man is a veteran, and he's probably not got long left in the sport. Put him out there as much as you can before you get an AJ Styles situation where he's in his last year, he's done nothing in the last 2-3 years, and he's probably not going to do much in his last year. And it's going to be sad because such a legendary wrestler shouldn't go out like that. So utilise Sheamus while you can. I'm glad they're trying. But at the same time, we shouldn't have to be trying. It should be natural to put someone like Sheamus out there, and it should be natural for the fans to cheer. That's what I'm picking up from this. But regardless, he's still got it. Do you know what I mean? It's Sheamus. People don't understand the cultural significance of Sheamus. People think, oh, Sheamus, he's not the biggest WWE superstar. But a lot of non-WWE fans know who Sheamus is. Underrated, underestimated. Quoting Skepta over here. So Ludwig Kaiser just cut promo as El Grande Americano, speaking fluent Spanish. I don't know if he's fluent in Spanish or if he's learned that for the interview, but Dragon Lee interrupted him and said you're fake. And obviously El Grande Americano was already a fake luchador, being Chad Gable, but Ludwig Kaiser is the fake El Grande Americano. He's a double fake. And then they started fighting, so I can imagine probably next week or maybe later tonight we might get a match between El Grande Americano and Dragon Lee. Why is Dragon Lee not a WWE? Like, come on. WWE, you built him up as like the next King of Luchadors or whatever you called him, the next Rey Mysterio basically, and then you don't put him in matches, you don't put him in no significant storylines. He's in a significant storyline with El Grande Americano that gets an appearance once every month. It's so stupid. But the New Day are coming out. We're probably going to get that triple threat tag team match. I think it's between the New Day, War Raiders and Creed Brothers to become number one contenders for the World Tag Team titles. I don't know if it's at SummerSlam or not, but anyway, it's SummerSlam. When you have a 2-night event, especially something like WrestleMania and SummerSlam, on all the big significant shows, every champion should defend. I'm talking men's and women's United States champion, men's and women's IC champion, WWE Tag Team champions, World Tag Team champions, women's Tag Team champions, and obviously the main, world champions, but every champion should be defending at SummerSlam. So please can we do that, right? Because we're definitely getting a multi-man tag match for between the Wyatt Six and the SmackDown roster for their titles. All the main world champions are having matches. We're most likely getting a women's tag team title match. Make these matches happen. Becky, Lyra's happening. Jacob, Solo's happening. What's Julia doing? Dom, AJ's happening. Oops. But, I mean, I kind of saw it on Instagram, so oops. Okay, so I was wrong about the match participants. It is the New Day, it is the Creed Brothers, but it's not the War Raiders. Instead, it's the LWO. I like that. Thank you. We have Alpha Academy. We have LWO. Use them. People saying the Raw Tag Team division is dead. No, it's not. It's just not utilised properly. Granted, the better teams are on SmackDown, but you can still make something of the Raw Tag Team division. What are we doing? But the match hasn't happened yet, because before we just had a little video package. Lyra Valkyria coming up to Bayley, because obviously they've got a random tag team match tonight, and last week they just had a match, and they've just had a feud, right? Lyra's like, why'd you make this match happen? Bayley's like, well, because it never happened at WrestleMania. Fact, let's make that match happen. Second of all, Lyra's like, well, why, after everything that's been happening over the last few months, and Bayley's like, oh, we're playing the game, this is winning, we're just trying to win shit, and she acts like nothing's happened. I get it. Right, but also at the same time, there's a missed opportunity there, right? Last week, Bayley referenced, after this match, when I win, it's done between me and you. You can get your future shot at Becky, but when I earn my shot, when I beat you, it's done between us, yeah? Obviously, Lyra won the match, and that didn't come true, but one thing they did agree on was after this match, it was done between them. And it is. They've stopped feuding. Lyra won the match, they didn't feud anymore. So Bayley, instead, is forgetting everything that's happened with Lyra, and she kind of gets a shot at the Intercontinental title, but she wants to win those tag team titles with the match that never happened at Mania. Nice idea. And this would be great if Bayley and Lyra won the titles. Unfortunately, that's not happening because they're held by the Judgment Day and a great storyline right now. Well, call me surprised. The LWO get the win. And to be honest, I'm not sad about it. Because during that match, and the same thing happened at the AAA event, right? Worlds Collide. It honestly makes me question, how do WWE not utilise Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro? How? These guys are the best high flyers in WWE. Facts, right? Not even just high flyers. The in-ring moves, the speed, the accuracy of their moves is insane. Like, even the creativity behind it, right? There were some moves Joaquin Wilde was hitting there that the crowd couldn't deny but pop for them. The crowd couldn't give a shit about LWO. I'll be honest. The crowd, they were their favourites by the end of the match. Why? Because of the shit they're doing in the ring. It blows my mind that WWE don't use them. And then in their first match back, they win a triple threat match to earn the opportunity of World Tag Titles. And it's a big upset, and it's probably going to be a good match, but it ain't going to be at SummerSlam. I mean, you can tell that now, do you know what I mean? But what a fucking match. That was great. There wasn't interference, you know, Dragon Lee tried to get involved, and El Grande Americano got involved with that, so we're probably going to get Dragon Lee, El Grande Americano next week, like I said, but who didn't see that coming? Bit of a backstage segment there where Io Sky was wishing Kairi and Asuka, her friends in Damage Control, Kabuki Warriors, whatever, wishing them good luck in the future to get the women's tag team championships. Now obviously they've got no shot coming up tonight. It's Bayley and Lyra, and at SummerSlam it's Charlotte and Alexa, which I forgot to mention earlier. So I don't know when they're getting an opportunity, but obviously they're going to keep trying, and they wished Io good luck for her match at SummerSlam. And that's when Stephanie walked in. Just said, you know, I hope you win type stuff, because then it'll be me at Paris. And Io said, well, last time I had you beat, didn't I? And then Stephanie said, well, why don't we just not wait till Clash in Paris? And then Io said, well, why don't we just do it tonight? So now I'm excited, because we're getting Stephanie back at Io Sky tonight. And even if that's not main event, that's crazy, but that should be a main event. Can we talk about, right, because Io Sky is about to put on another match of the year, can we talk about how every match of the year includes Io Sky? And there's an argument that it also includes Rhea Ripley, because last year, like, Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch was fucking insane. But this year, you know, we've had Io, Becky, Bianca triple threat match, then we've had Io, Rhea, which took over. But I'd like to make a nice mention for Io, Stephanie. That first time was very good, but this time it's going to be even better. It's going to be even better. Do you know, I feel like sometimes high stakes might ruin a match. I feel like sometimes the best matches are the ones that don't have the massive stakes, and they actually come out as a surprise match because it's really good, and people aren't focused on the outcome, people are focused on the match. The matches at WrestleMania between Io, Rhea, and Bianca, they're focused on who's winning. The match between Rhea and Io, they're focused on who's winning. Last time when Stephanie and Io faced, Io was Women's World Champion, Stephanie was NXT Women's Champion. They're focused on who's winning. This time, neither are champions. It's on a random episode of Monday Night Raw. There's no favourite, because Io's challenging for the title at WrestleMania. Stephanie's challenging for a title at Clash in Paris. There's no stakes, really. Anyone could win. And now we just get to focus on the match. And I'm telling you now, great match. And if it's not, I'll kill myself. Hold up. A lot to unpack in one backstage scene. So there's Dominic Mysterio about to walk out with Raquel and Roxanne. And Adam Pearce comes up to him. He's like, no, come on. You're doing your reevaluation. Dom's like, look, I'm busy. They need me out there. And he says, no, they don't. You're doing your evaluation. Stop stalling. Adam Pearce leaves. And then Dom turns around. And AJ Styles has been a janitor. First he was a valet, now he's a janitor. I'm loving it. First of all, I'm loving the comedic stuff AJ's doing. Creative stuff. It's great stuff. And then Dom's like, AJ, I'm not clear. And he's like, not yet. And then Dom leaves. And then while AJ's mopping, still mopping, playing the role very well. He's actually genuinely helping out. He's valeting people's cars. He's mopping the floor. He mops at the New Day's feet. And he's like, whoa, guys. It's wet, I don't want you to slip. Bit of comedy, right? Leaves. New Day are like, what's going on? Simulation's broken. We're disrespected. We don't have our tag team titles. We don't have our tag team title opportunity. No one respects us. The only thing that's right is AJ is a janitor, like he should have been all along, which is crazy. But then he says, as the greatest tag team of all time, facts. Not in recent years, you know. It's between them and the Usos, but genuinely, like, New Day in their prime, greatest tag team of all time. Facts. They were like, we need to restore order, we need to restore respect, we need something to help us out. That's when Grayson Waller walks in. Now, obviously, we've seen Grayson Waller and Austin Theory arguing backstage. They've built up that they're going to fall out for years, and they never did it. And then he's been hanging around the New Day while Austin Theory's been there. And that's when Grayson Waller walks in and says, good news, Austin Theory's got himself injured. 8 Town Down Under is no more. I hate that guy, whatever. So that's how they're ending 8 Town Down Under. Very anticlimactic. By the way, wasted potential as a tag team. Wasted potential as a feud, right? The only good that can come out of this is maybe Grayson Waller has some entertainment with the New Day, and maybe Austin Theory has a good solo run when he comes back. But the New Day were kind of like, he's not going to be our secret weapon, our third wheel that we're going to use. So yeah. But I liked it, because that promo went everywhere. like WWE is it's more entertaining than ever. Like, it's not just the in-ring, like genuinely more entertaining. It's not just cliche backstage promos where it's like, I don't like you, let's have a match. It's not just that. It's getting a lot better, I'll be honest. So Becky comes out, cuts a promo on Lyra saying Lyra gets another shot. It's bullshit. You know, I should be at my movie premiere for Happy Gilmore 2, you know, because she has a slight appearance in Happy Gilmore 2. But instead she's here to please these stupid people. And she says how selfish is Lyra Valkyria having a tag team match for the titles and then facing her at SummerSlam, who deserves 2 titles. And obviously she realised she was once Becky 2 belts. Probably more than once she's been Becky 2 belts. And then she was like, okay, but when I did it, it was revolutionary. It was groundbreaking. Her intentions are not pure, is what Becky said. And then she called Lyra out here, and similar to their last one-on-one match for the title, Lyra said, if I beat you for the second time, you're not getting another shot at this title. Becky said, fine, but if I win, you're raising my hand. Obviously, Becky won and got her hand raised. Again, we had a bit more of a bet. Becky says, Lyra, when I win, you're never challenging for this title again because you've never let go of it. You're chasing all the titles, you're being greedy. And Lyra says, you know what? Fine, I'll accept those terms on one condition. That our match is no countouts, no disqualification. There must be a winner. And Becky's like, okay. And she says it as if she had plans to get counted out or get disqualified, so she didn't have to, you know, successfully defend it. So that's another stipulation match at SummerSlam, which is great. I feel like when you have big matches like this on big cards, you need stipulations sometimes. Like, not many should be just simple matchups. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe they should. Maybe on the big stage, it should be the big dream matches in, like, big matches. Whereas, like, on the B pay-per-views, we should have stipulations to make them more exciting. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Now Bayley's coming out for their tag team match. So Lyra Bayley actually nearly won those tag team titles, and Lyra started to pick a fight with Dominic, and that's when Raquel accidentally big booted Dominic. Dominic tried to play like he was still injured and asked for medical came over on AJ Styles. He's been a valet driver, he's been a janitor, and now he's part of the medical team because he started trying to resuscitate Dominic Mysterio, and apparently his injuries within the sternum and the ribs, and obviously going after that fake injury. And then while AJ chased Dominic out there, distracted the referee, Becky came along, pulled Lyra off the barricade to take Lyra out of the match. This meant it was Roxanne and Raquel versus Bayley. Bayley had a collision with Roxanne, didn't realise Roxanne had tagged Raquel, and Raquel hits her finish on Bayley and gets the win, which I'm not mad about because it would make no sense for Lyra and Bayley to win the titles anyway, which means Raquel and Roxanne are still facing Charlotte and Alexa at SummerSlam. But next out is Sami Zayn. So just before Sami Zayn went out for the match, the interviewer said, aren't you supposed to be out for indefinitely? And then Sami Zayn said, well, Karrion Kross injured me, yes, and he cost me that gauntlet match last week, and I could be the one facing Gunther, but instead I'm not. And he said I could have sat out longer. I'm not fully recovered, but I want to end this once and for all with Karrion Kross, so I'm coming here to end it. And then he went out for his match. Then I had a little video package about what's happened between Seth and Roman, and I like what they're doing. Since Roman's come back, and all throughout Monday Night Raw, they've been showing us vignettes of the Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins faction story. Now obviously last week they showed when he came back and fought Bronson and Braun Breaker. And earlier on they showed the WrestleMania match where Paul turned on Roman and aligned himself with Seth. Just now they've showed us where Roman Reigns, the night after, got attacked by Braun Breaker. So they're going to show us how the story plays out and feeding into what Roman Reigns is going to be doing. Then, backstage, Dominic Mysterio was looking for AJ Styles. He walks in to fit in JD, and they're like, chill out, man, you're with us now. And he's like, no, AJ's following us around. Adam Pearce comes along, all mad, and he says, you're stalling. I'm either stripping you of that title right now, or you're coming with me to medical. And he said, I'll see you in medical. So what's going to happen? And now Sami and Karrion are about to wrestle. Well, thanks to Scarlett and a pipe, Karrion Kross beat Sami Zayn, obviously hitting them in the ribs with that pipe. Thank God Karrion Kross has a win on Monday Night Raw, on TV, not in the ad break. Anyway, then AJ and Adam Pearce were waiting outside the medical room for the results. Medical came out, said, look, we've still got some paperwork to run, so you're still going to have to wait. That's when AJ gets attacked from behind by Dominic, and Dominic says, look, I'm competed, I'm cleared. I'll see you at SummerSlam. So Dom, AJ, SummerSlam for the IC title. let's go. And I just heard Io Sky's music, so I'm guessing we're getting Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer. So Stephanie Vaquer, Io Sky ends in DQ once again after Chelsea Green and Secret Service attacked Stephanie Vaquer. This time, when Stephanie Vaquer was actually, had Io beat. Last time it was Io had Stephanie beat. This time Stephanie had Io beat. Yeah, and a few notes, right? Stephanie Vaquer, obviously she hit that devil's kiss right on the apron, 5 on the apron, then 5 on the ring. The fans wanted more. They were saying one more time, one more time. He has a little advice. Stephanie, you are over, but you want to make it big. You've not made it big yet. If you want to make it big, listen to those fans, because once you listen to those fans, and not only are you over and they're behind you, they'll buy your merch. Once they buy your merch, WWE recognizes you, and then you're a top star. So do that, right? But also, I wonder what the angle is with Chelsea Green and Stephanie Vaquer, because obviously Chelsea Green's been feuding with Stephanie Vaquer, and they need to keep Stephanie hot up all the way until Clash in Paris, really, because she's not doing anything at SummerSlam. I wonder if they're going to have a one-on-one match between Stephanie and Chelsea at SummerSlam. I don't know if that's quite it. I noticed Nikki Bella got involved last week. I don't know if she's still a part of WWE. I don't know if Nikki Bella's going to team up with that against Secret Service, or if they're going to do Chelsea and the Secret Service against Stephanie, Nikki, and then who else? Brie Bella? Who knows? But then Naomi came out to attack Io and Stephanie. Rhea Ripley came to help. Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Stephanie Vaquer. WWE know what they're doing with WWE's 3 top women in terms of popularity. All 3 of them get the loudest pops. The Devil's Kiss was the loudest pop I've heard all night until Rhea Ripley came out, and I'm like, my god, right? They beat everyone up. WWE knows what they're doing with those 3, and honestly, triple threat match with those 3 would cook. Put Rhea Ripley, Io Sky in a triple threat match with anyone, it cooks. Let's be honest, these 3 women are the best in ring and popularity wise. It deserved popularity, let's be honest, genuinely. But that was, the match was so great. But I'm glad they didn't have a winner, because now we can put it back. Now we can postpone it until we have a stakes match, or until we have a match at a PLE. 2 matches, both ended in DQ. It's a good way of putting them both over, really. And ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude Monday Night Raw. Paul Heyman came out, Roman Reigns came out, and Roman Reigns started ripping into Paul Heyman. I mean, well, not really ripping him, but he said, "You were once a wise man, now you're a dumbass." He said, "You're not responsible for the tribal chief, for me being the tribal chief," and then he said, "They're responsible for me still being the tribal chief," which I didn't like, because Roman, when he was prime tribal chief, was against the people. What he should have said was, "I'm responsible for being the tribal chief, and I may have lost the title, but because of them, I'm still tribal chief," right? That would have been better, but it's fine. And Braun Breaker kept trying to interrupt. Roman Reigns was like, he was sunning him. He was like, "Stay back, little boy. Yeah, don't start this." And there was a moment where it wasn't on the mics, but Braun mouthed to him, "I will rip your head off." And it cut to Roman Reigns, was like, "I'd like to see you try." I like that. Oh, that got me fired up. But also, he was just ripping into Paul Heyman and saying, "Look, you were once a friend to the family. You were once a business partner. But I made you part of the family. And you weren't the reason I was still champion. You helped me get it, but you never helped me retain it." And said that was Usos, that was Solo, that was Sammy. And he kicked off when he said Sammy. Yeah. And then Braun finally stepped up to him and he said, "Roman, you're not the big dog anymore. You used to be the big dog. You were relevant like 5 years ago," which is wrong. He was relevant literally last year. And if anything, he's the most relevant he's ever been, despite being past prime and no longer the champion. One thing this promo made me realise was Roman Reigns had lost the title at the right time. But regardless, Braun Breaker said, "I'm the big dog now," which is ironic, because Roman Reigns used to be the big dog, used to be his yard. Now everyone barks at Braun Breaker, and Braun Breaker is on the rise, but he's not that guy, but he's saying he is that guy. And this is when, obviously, when he was trying to insult all these things to Roman, the crowd were booing over Braun Breaker. Roman said, "I didn't hear anything you said. So if you want to say it again, say it at my mic." Trucks the mic up, Superman punch to Braun Breaker, and he starts fighting Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Eventually, obviously, 2-on-1, Breaker hits a spear on Reigns to get the better of him. That's when Jey Uso comes out, and then Jey Uso saves Roman Reigns' arse, and then they hit a double spear. Jey spears Braun while Roman spears Bronson. This obviously sets up the inevitable, which has been announced now. Roman Reigns, Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed at WrestleMania. It's SummerSlam. This makes sense. I support this. I mean, Roman set's got to happen at WrestleMania. Surely, 1-on-1 as well. It's got to happen. I feel like that's happening at WrestleMania. CM Punk's going to be out from it. Maybe we'll get a CM Punk Roman Reigns in the meantime if CM Punk wins the world title. but not at WrestleMania. WrestleMania's for Roman, Seth, non-title, and I feel like Punk, if he wins that world title, might face Cody. I don't know at WrestleMania, but that's thinking way too ahead in the future. But very decent episode of Monday Night Raw. God, I miss Roman Reigns. And you know what's good about this episode of Monday Night Raw? It utilised everything, unlike SmackDown. SmackDown had nothing for the Women's United States title picture. It had nothing for the Women's WWE title picture. Literally, like, barely anything, right? Raw had something for the Men's and Women's Intercontinental title picture, the World Tag title picture, the Women's Tag title picture, the Men's and Women's World Heavyweight Championship picture, the non-title feuds, including Dragon Lee and El Grande Americano, the Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Sami Zayn, Karrion Kross. It had something for everything. It contributed to everything, and that's what's great. And do you know what? SmackDown's down to 2 hours now. We've got just as much SmackDown as we do Monday Night Raw. So there's no reason why SmackDown can't. SmackDown has a smaller roster with less divisions because Raw also have the Women's Tag Team division, which obviously SmackDown has now as well. But regardless, SmackDown doesn't have as much as Raw, and Raw's still managing to get everything involved. So what's SmackDown doing? SmackDown's been good recently. I used to say SmackDown isn't as good as Monday Night Raw, and it's sad, but recently it has been. But last week, I just didn't see enough of the talent on the show. It was still a good show. But they need to up their game. Great episode of Monday Night Raw. Obviously, can never complain. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.